Chapter 18. Ruse. Lee sat in the back of a private autocar. The dismal backdrop of Sacramento's urban decay gave way to sprawling suburbs, then open farmland as the car traveled north at a comfortable speed. Sitting next to him was Kyler, his stiff frame, tall and muscular, looking out of place in the car's confined back seat. While it had all of the niceties of a luxury vehicle, wood trim on the door, leather seats, executive lighting for work, he kept cursing under his breath about Cereus's decision to send this car. "Can't believe they couldn't send you a bigger fucking ride. Thought you had pull at that place," he said. Lee smirked. "They saved this one just for you." He continued to busy himself with the flurry of messages that were coming his way. There were communications from HQ in San Francisco via the TP-com, his work phone, and remote drone in all forms of encryption. Distributed among the official correspondence were several "Where you at? You all right? You good?" memos from Rodin. Lee worked on each systematically, following the order of his self-designed message triage system. He felt like a skilled paramedic trying to stop the bleeding on a dying car crash victim, yet he maintained his composure through it all. Kyler arched an eyebrow, then looked at Lee out of the side of his eyes. "This plan of yours was very clever. You think they bought it?" Lee put the finishing touches on a status update message to HQ before he looked up. "It surely has given us some breathing room to plan our next move. That's all we could hope for at this point, although I didn't expect you to use that form of kidnapping." Lee rubbed his still aching neck. Kyler exhaled a sound similar to a laugh, but his face remained hard. "All part of the plan. I really had to sell it. The more genuine the video, the more time we get." He folded his arms across his chest. A slight grin formed on his face. "You know, you made a pretty lousy prisoner. It wasn't nearly as fun as doing interrogations during the war. There's a certain thrill that comes with seeing someone literally piss themselves with fear." He let out a cold laugh. Lee looked amused. "You're one twisted son of a bitch." The autocar guided itself toward its destination. The standard evening traffic jam on Highway 99 had slowed their movement to a crawl, then to stop and go. A live report flashed on a large display screen in the center console of the car. A sky drone captured an elderly person several cars ahead, adamant on driving his vehicle manually in direct defiance of the medical alerts from the vehicle. The news report beamed a live stream from inside the car. Name: Montgomery Jones. Age: 91. Date of birth: August 20th, 1971. He was an old man with wrinkly skin hunched over the steering wheel, straining his neck and eyes to see the road ahead of him. The automated reporter read off a list of medical impairments that made the man a road hazard. Glaucoma of the left eye, a sprained wrist, prescribed a powerful narcotic for pain that induced bouts of drowsiness. The list went on to list these and at least 6 other medical conditions that ranged from minor annoyances to ailments requiring chronic care by a team of professionals. "They need to get that gentleman off the road," Kyler said. "He'll kill us all." Lee laughed. "That will probably be you in the next 10 years. That's a negative. I'll get one of those, what do you call them, shepherds to ferry me around. You won't find me driving down these streets. Not a chance in hell." He continued to watch the news report on the screen. A sudden loud ringing sounded in the car, drowning out the audio from the screen. Lee's eyes grew wide. "It's the emergency line." "Mute screen," he commanded. The sound from the droning news report shut off. He unlatched his black briefcase and pulled an old Nokia flip phone from one of the pockets. He held the functioning relic in his hand while it continued to ring, regarding it with trepidation. Kyler looked at the phone, the muscles in his jaw tense. Who the hell could be calling? The phone produced its characteristic click when Lee flipped it open with his thumb. The screen read, "Emergency line," but gave no indication of who might be on the other end. He pressed the green button to answer. "Hello?
Dad? Is that you?"
Jinhwa's voice was small, but sounded slightly more mature than it had when he left the house this morning. "Yes, I'm here." She was crying tears of joy and relief on the other end. It was difficult for Lee to maintain his composure, hearing how upset his daughter was.
"Are you all right? Mr. Rodan said you had been taken. I didn't know what to do. I'm glad you're okay."
Lee closed his eyes and felt the warm sting of tears forming. He let them fall. "You were very brave, Jinhwa. I know you were worried about me." Jinhwa laughed through her tears.
Duh, of course I was worried about you. Where are you? Are you coming home?
Yes, I'm very near on the 99. There's some traffic, but I should be there in about an hour. I'll explain what happened when I arrive.
Okay, Dad. Make sure you don't override the auto drive feature. You know what a terrible driver you are.
He could tell she was smiling at him from his study, and allowed a similar expression of joy to animate his features because of it. No, I won't this time. I'll let the car do the work.
Good. Okay, bye, Dad. I love you.
Speak to you soon. I love you. He ended the call, snapped the phone shut, then returned it to his briefcase. A heavy sigh escaped his lips. "Is she all right?" Kyler asked. "Yeah, she'll be fine." Lee looked toward the emergency phone in the briefcase. "I hope I never have to do something like that again." "Glad to hear it." Kyler slapped Lee's shoulder in a display of solidarity. The impact made him wince. It was clear that he was not aware of his own strength sometimes with all of the augmentations and his metallic skeleton. "I wish none of us had to do things like this, but like all soldiers during a conflict, we have to make these kinds of sacrifices all the time. The family is what suffers the most, unfortunately. They understand the duty of what you have to do, what your mission is, but at times they feel neglected and forgotten because they can't see the whole picture. And they're aware of it too. I think that makes it harder for them, because they can't experience the whole ordeal with you, even though they may be given everything they can to support you. It's a difficult situation for both the soldier and the family." Lee nodded his head as he stared blankly at the back of the empty driver's seat. He pitied the loved ones who sacrificed on the home front, providing invisible aid for their families, fighting for causes they could not see, fully grasp, or understand. True unsung heroes. "You're right. I just hope it was worth it. We can't let Janus carry out his plan. If he thinks that you've joined his cause, Limnic's cause, by kidnapping and killing me, then it will slow him down." "Do we know anything further about how he plans to take control of Cereus?" Lee shook his head. "Nothing much at this point. All intel is inconclusive. But whatever his designs are, he plans to roll it out on a massive scale. His server activity has significantly increased recently." Kyler gave a curt nod. The autocar changed lanes to overtake a large Amazon delivery truck. The white smile on the sky blue background brought Rodan to Kyler's mind. He's probably not smiling now. Lee's partner had never impressed him. The man was unset, constantly unorganized, and was always a cheap substitute for Lee's boundless professionalism. He suspected the only reason Lee continued to partner with him after all these years was because he made Lee look good. Real good. Kyler suppressed a laugh at the thought. What about Rodan? Lee brought his hand to his chin, thinking. Rodan can handle himself for now. While he may not have known the details of the op, he knows the threat Janus poses to us and society at large. Kyler nodded, as if acknowledging a military order. Our next step is to assemble all of the major players and plan our next move, hopefully before Janus makes his. I'll contact the other founders and gather them in my study, then we'll discuss strategy. The afternoon sun was beginning its descent to twilight as the sign for Yuba City came into view. Situated on the border of an orchard, the sign was easy for travelers to miss on the way into town. That was not the case for Lee. He put down his device, the messages, and the conflict awaiting him to take in the sign and smile at the sight of it. He was home.